Hi,
everybody.
friends.
Welcome to the Knit Chat Cafe. So I guess we want to make sure everybody can see us and hear us. That's should always be the first thing on the agenda.
Absolutely.
So, my name is Noelle, and
I'm
this is
Kelly.
my friend Kelly, and we're coming to you from Southwestern Ontario, Canada. Yeah, we never say that. I think everybody knows where Ontario is, but they may not. So we're in Canada, and yeah, so this is our weekly informal get together where we meet with all of you, our friends, in Knit Chat Cafe, and just have a little catch up. So see what we've been working on. And I see that everybody in here has been talking about their Christmas knits, and lots of people knitting the bear paw socks. So the bear paw socks are a DK weight sock, very similar to Andrea Mowry's everyday sock. So I think it is the everyday sock, just in a DK weight version.
Those are going to be takeaway socks for me on my trip. I have to just choose the 2 yarns. I've been meaning to cast them on all week. I haven't gotten to it, but they are going with me. They are traveling. So yeah.
This time of year is just like, again, I didn't get to comments. Like, this time of year is just busy. Like we went out to get our Christmas tree, and it seems like you do a little bit more socializing. So yeah, it's just get all the things done before Christmas.
And there's so many people in here, and it looks like lots of people are talking about Advent too. We're in Advent, and
we are in Advent.
I did not get an Advent calendar of any type, yarn, tea, fabric, otherwise chocolates, nothing. I got no Advent calendars this year.
Well, I've had the David's tea one a couple of times, and then one year I had the Loctane, and that was nice. But I've never had a yarn one, and I've never bought one because I don't really I want to know what I'm buying when I get yarn.
Yes.
So much as I think it would be nice to be able to open something up every day, I would rather know what I'm getting when I'm buying yarn. But this year, I've had the privilege of being able to, and I will show that a little later on, I'm actually knitting a sample for Leo and Roxy with their Advent calendar.
And they're stunning.
And it is. Well, Kelly's seen more of it. I can only show you today up to day 6. I have finished a lot more of it than that, but I can only show you up to day 6. And it's gorgeous. Beautiful.
There isn't a color in there that I wouldn't want to knit with. Absolutely.
No, I know. I hope that they do some of the colors as full-size skeins.
The other thing about Advent for me is that it's that fear of not being able to commit to doing something with it every day, because a lot of the Advents you're supposed to be knitting that little bit every day. And my concern is that if I'm knitting that's all the knitting I'm going to get done that day, just because my knitting time there's very little knitting time for me in a day. And I'm concerned that I'm going to fall behind on other things. So that's my fear, that I'm just going to fall behind by day 2. And then that's it. I'm off the rails.
I just thought this was kind of nice for me this year because I didn't have to decide anything, right? Like, they told me the pattern to do. The yarns are all in a numbered order. So I don't have any of that thinking or planning that I would normally have before I start a project. So it's just like, this is what you're doing, just start. So the only thing that I do, I only roll my minis like 1 or 2 at a time, because I don't want to get them mixed up. Like, I do roll up the little band on it and put it in the middle because they have a color number, but I don't want to get them out of order. So I don't roll too many of them at once. So
I think it would be fun. I could do an Advent calendar and open it every day, and then maybe save the knitting part for January.
Yeah.
Or just at my leisure. But I don't know. Then I would just feel like, I should be keeping up with all the other Adventers. And it's not a competition, Anne. You're right. It's not a competition. The competition would just be me, myself. I would feel like I needed to do it.
It would be fun just to open a little package
It would be fun to open a little package every day.
But I mean, all of us.
But if I really just want to open the package every day, I could just buy chocolates, because I would love to open a little chocolate every day. If it was dark chocolate, there's a little bit of salted caramel in there, I could have one little chocolate every day, and I would not fall behind in that.
Well, no, I wouldn't fall behind in that either. But lots of us have lots of little bits and pieces of yarn. We could easily do Advent calendars for our friends.
We could.
So
we could.
Or for yourself, because you could forget what's in there.
Yours would be all pink. Mine would be all gold. I mean, I see how that would go.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. Well,
Holst order.
the whole, I didn't pick it up.
You
I
didn't
don't
get
know
yours?
if it's here yet. I don't know if it's
Okay.
here. I haven't been to the post office. It should be here. I should be able to pick it up. But it does look like lots of people
Yes.
got some Holst and are still getting
Yes.
Holst this week.
Yes. So that's exciting. That's exciting.
Lots of people agree on the chocolate. Maybe next year we'll do one for each other and we'll do yarn and chocolate.
And chocolate. That's a good idea. That's right. That's a good idea.
That's one that's a little tricky to get in the mail because you have to worry about the chocolates melting in the mail. But we could exchange. Maybe that's what we'll do next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So
Julia says she can contribute all the jewel tones. Yes, Julia, you could.
There you
I would
go.
love to. I would actually love to get a little yarn exchange from Julia. I would know exactly what I was getting. It would be stunning. It would be beautiful teals, beautiful rich colors.
I guess a lot of people were in here and are talking about that they've been watching a lot of the Vlogmases that people have out there. And that is one thing that you do see on the Vlogmases. You do see everybody open up their advent calendars. So if you really thought about getting one next year, you can get ideas just from seeing people open different ones as far as which ones might be your taste, right? Because obviously all dyers are not the same. And some are, some might have brighter colors, some might have more muted colors, but you can get an idea of what that dyer does by watching the Vlogmases. So.
Hi, Lynn.
Okay.
Lynn just popped in all the way from Blue Point.
Hi, Lynn. It's not that far from us.
It's not that far from us. I saw somebody in here earlier from Dunnville too. I have family in Dunnville that I think I'm going to go visit over the holidays.
Is that in this area?
It's about 3.5 hours from us. It's somewhere in, I think it's fairly close to Hamilton. Just on a different side, but yeah.
Yep. And Crochet 88D says the advent calendars are pricey, and they are pricey. So that's part of my not knowing what I'm getting and paying that amount of money.
But I think that the people that are really into the advent, that is their special gift to themselves.
Yes.
So, and I also have to appreciate for the makers of the advent calendars, there's a huge amount of work that goes into making those advents. You can't just look at it like, oh, it's little bits of wool and one full skein. It's little bits of wool, carefully packaged, lovingly packaged, and there's a lot of effort that goes into an advent box subscription, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, maybe next year.
Yep. Well, I can't, honestly, nobody that got the Leo and Roxy one could be disappointed because the colors are absolutely spectacular. They really are. They're just, I'm thinking, oh, it'd be so pretty. You could even do like a striped sweater and it would look gorgeous. But anyways. Okay, so we should
jump in. We should get started.
We should. So we do have some admin because we are into December.
Gosh, we are.
Last week.
I had planned to decorate the set. I didn't get that done this weekend either.
Well, I had to tell you today that it was December.
Well, you did, because I completely forgot. I set up the podcast and I completely forgot to, do the draws that we have to do for the end of October. End of October.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we do have a couple of winners because the end of November we draw our prizes for our sock knit along. And so for this month, we have got, let's see here, let me bring up the right one. Our pattern prize winner, and this is the pair of socks that was knit, and our pattern prize winner, just got to find it here. Okay, so our November pattern prize winner was Handmade Studio 11, who was Wendy. And she made these gorgeous little gold colored shorty socks with a beautiful pattern in them. And
they're so pretty.
So Wendy will let you know in a few minutes when we're finished announcing here how to get in contact with us. But your prize is your pick of a pattern from Natalie. And Natalie is Remembrances Pottery, and she is Natalie Sheldon on Ravelry. Okay. And then our prize for the sock yarn prize.
Okay.
Change my banner here. Okay. It doesn't want to change.
I think you might have to.
I'll click the one first. Okay,
Yes,
I
there
got
you
it.
go.
Yep. Okay, so our November sock prize winner is Amy H90. So I'm thinking her name is Amy. I don't know that for sure, but because I
That's a
went in
pretty
on
good
Ravelry and
assumption.
there was no name, but I'm thinking her name is Amy. And she has these gorgeous socks with contrast heel toes and cuffs. They look spectacular. There's so many wonderful pairs of socks in there. It's just inspirational. And I've definitely got my sock mojo back. So I'm definitely starting to get into the socks and doing them again. Not in time for everybody to get a pair for Christmas, however. So, but I am getting back into knitting them. So for Amy and Wendy, if you could contact us either through Ravelry or through, let's see here, the Knits and Pieces podcast at gmail.com. Give us your information. For the pattern prize, we just need your Ravelry ID. But for the mail out prize, we will need your full address and full name. So if you can contact us, we will make sure that those prizes get out to you. And congratulations to everybody for the socks in there. For the end of November, we had 2,608 pairs of socks in there. So that's amazing.
A lot of socks.
A lot of socks. Oh, you have to show the prize. That's right.
You didn't let me show the prize. Don't leave. Don't leave. So we thought we have this great sock blank. This is from Full Moon Fibers. And this set, it's a sock blank with.
Well, is it a sock blank or a sock tube?
Sock tube. Sorry,
tube.
Sock tube. There is a difference.
There is a difference. That's right.
It's a sock tube, and the set is called Deck the Tree. And I love the colors in this. Look at it's got some pops of bright green, bright blue, and then the two minis. Look at the bright colors there. They're so pretty. And this is on their it's their solar sock tube. It's a 64 stitch count. And I had some down here. I could have shown you what they look like. I still do.
And for the sock yarn winner, like that's amazing because the tube's already all knit. So you can actually.
This is a gift if you wanted to get these. You can get these done before Christmas. So this is what they might look like when you're finished. I don't have sock blockers, so you'll just have to bear with me here. I don't have those beside me. But this was a pair of a tube. I don't know why I call it a sock blank, but this was one of their tubes, and I think it was something about Up the Creek was the green. But I love these like tie-dye effect, and then that's the color that I added for heels and toes. And I was able to get out of my sock tube, I got 2 pairs of socks. And I think these ones are 6 inches long. So I have a pair and my daughter has a pair.
Yeah. Yep.
So have fun with that.
Because you've got the 2 minis there. Well, so you really do have quite a bit of yarn to do 2 pairs.
Yeah, absolutely. You do. Or you could make 2 pairs the same. You could do like the toe in one color, the heel in another color. Just be mindful, like really try to get the, I did not show this. I had to do the cuff and the contrast as well in order to get 2 pairs. So if you are trying to get 2 pairs, you may need to do that too. But
or just shorten up the leg a little bit.
Or just go crazy and make a nice long pair for yourself.
Could do that too. That's right. Yeah. That's right.
It's so pretty though. It's so pretty. Okay.
So I did, even though I didn't get to responding to the comments, I did go through and read them to see if there was any questions. And last week we were kind of talking about different resources for helping us do things. So there was a couple of other resources that people told us that they use. So we'd like to share them. So we had talked about a couple of YouTube channels that are our frequent go-tos. And I think we've said Very Pink Knits. I know Chili Dog. I know, what was the other one? Roxanne Richardson Suzanne Bryan. Roxanne Richardson was one that I'm not sure that we mentioned, but she is a good resource for different things as well. And then someone else suggested that there is a really good book. It's called Cast On, Bind Off, and it's 54 step-by-step methods just for cast-ons and bind-offs. And that is by Leslie Ann Bester. And I looked on Amazon, and you can get it on Amazon. You can get the Kindle version for like $11.99. So this will give you cast-ons and bind-offs that you can match up so that your cast-ons and your bind-offs look the same. So I thought I haven't looked at the book, but it did
That's a
look
great
like that
book.
would be, yeah, I think that would be
I
really
like that
beneficial.
concept. I would need a
Yep.
book. I would not be able to remember 54 different
No,
ways.
or which ones go with which, right?
Mhm.
So,
But I
so
think
those
that's a
were a
great
couple
idea
of good
about
other
Kindle,
resources.
as you mentioned, Kindle,
Yes, and then
because
it's right on your device,
that's right, because I use Knit
right?
Companion all the time. So
Yeah.
then I would just have it right on there. And Donata is talking about the knitting bag of tricks. You know what? Next week, or no, not next week. I won't be here next week. The next time we do this live, I'm going to remember to bring that down. It's sitting upstairs. I have started to go through it. The Patty Lyons new book,
Right.
her knitting bag of tricks. Tons of really good ideas in there for you.
Yep. And Mary mentioned that Knitting the Stash has really good modification tutorials. So if you're doing a sweater and you have to kind of change it up a bit for yourself, that's a good place to go.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
Another question someone asked was, they said they were just getting into color work, and I had mentioned that I have the color work Bible, and here's the color work Bible right here, and whether it would be a good resource. I would say that this book is a good overall resource for color work, but it goes through, it's not like a full book of just stranded color work. It goes through if you're doing stripes, it goes through if you're doing stranded, if you're doing intarsia, if you're doing
Mm-hmm.
brioche, if you're doing mosaic, if you're doing, there was another one in there, double knit, where you've got the double-sided fabric.
Yes,
so there's a
yes.
different chapter on every one of those techniques. And then the very first chapter is actually about the color theory and choosing your colors. And then there's several patterns in the book after that. And there's a gorgeous Farrell vest type pattern in here that I think might have to go on my needles at some point. Might have to. Anyway, I can't find it. I should have marked it, but there's other, like when they talk about all those different techniques, then when you go through the book, there are patterns that incorporate all those various techniques. So it is a really good book. I think if you're just basically looking for stranded, I would think your best is probably to look at tutorials on YouTube where you can actually see people doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that might give you more confidence as far as knowing what to do. And it all comes down to practice. The more you do, the better you're going to get at it. The
Work
more
on
even
that
your
muscle
stitches
memory.
are going to get.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
We had a couple
and then
of
someone. I have one more here. Well, I have more than one more. One more was quickly here, and I know you're about to start a pair for a man. So someone asked good sock patterns for men. So I know
that's
you're
not
just
fair.
about to
It's not
start
fair to ask me. I've hardly made them for men. I've basically just done something of my own. Yeah, but I just sort of made my pattern up, or I was using a sock tube for Derek. This is going to be the first pair that I've knit from a pattern. The ones that, because this new the bear paw socks are for my husband, and this is going to be the first pair that I've knit for him. So you probably have way more experience on some favorite patterns.
Any pattern that you like, as long as it goes up to a 72 stitch, you can basically make for a man.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, you're just going to end up knitting the foot longer and the leg longer. Mm-hmm. But like oftentimes I use the socks on a plane. I just finished the pair of Andrea Mowry's every day in the fingering weight, and my son loved them because it is good. Like if you do an all over ribbed sock and you're not sure of the person's size, an all over ribbed is really good because, it's got a better fit because it kind of hugs your leg better. So even if you've got a few more stitches than what you might have needed, the rib in the sock will help that like kind of cinch into the leg.
Patricia is saying the simple skip socks, and I know that is a fantastic
I've
pattern.
done those too. Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I would say probably most men aren't, and I mean, not some men might, but most men probably aren't going to want a lacy look. You're probably going to go more with something textured or, a cable or something like that, or striped, or even just a plain vanilla sock in a color of self-striping yarn that you think they would like.
Right. And this is where we like the German yarns or the Croy for men. It is a really hard wearing yarn. And it comes in a huge amount of choices. Like you could do just a plain basic pattern with any of those Croy socks, and they're going to look like you've really done something fancy because they have such gorgeous patterns. Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. So just a quick, Nikki says that all of her, she says she's got sock patterns on Ravelry and they all go up to 80 stitches. So even if you need to like a bigger man size, you're just going to make sure you're basically doing a larger sock.
That's right.
So for my husband and my son, I do all their socks usually in 72, unless I'm doing a croy, and then I might go down a couple of stitches because the croy is a little bit thicker.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we will have lots of information like that in our sock video.
Yes, we will.
Next week.
Next week.
Right.
We recorded that episode this weekend. We recorded it not once, but we recorded it twice.
We were having so much fun. We were
having so much fun that Kelly did not somehow turn the record button off on the phone. And it was a long episode. And
it was.
Yeah, very disheartening. But we took a day off and then we got right back to it and we did it all over again. And so I'm in the process of editing that, and that will be up next week. Yeah.
Oh, Nikki says her husband has triple E width feet.
Hence the 80 stitch socks.
Hence the 80 stitch socks.
And size 16. Size 16. My goodness.
Yep. So anyway, there will be lots of information in that sock video because we kind of go through like knitting a pair of socks right from the beginning to the finished product. So and I just want to go back. There was a comment about, I think it was Susan, about if you don't want to get, when we were talking about advent calendar, she actually got a stitch marker advent calendar, which is not quite the investment. Yeah, which is not quite the investment of getting a yarn advent calendar. So,
and that's sort of in line with a little chocolate treat every day. You get a fun little stitch marker. Yeah, that is a good idea.
That is a good idea. So it doesn't always have to be, like yarn. Yeah, but it could still be knitting related without being yarn. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you had a question. You had a question to answer.
Yeah, I have a question for you, Noelle.
For me? No. I know nothing.
In the first episode the first time we recorded the podcast for socks, Monique had asked a question that we addressed. Okay. And then when we did the second time recording, we forgot to answer the question in the second episode. So her question was, how do you avoid the slouch in a sock? If it's not meant to be a slouchy sock, she was having some issues with the socks slouching down the leg. So we had chatted about that.
We did. And I have not found that, but I do knit the socks at a fairly tight gauge. And I think the tighter your gauge is, the less kind of stretch there's going to be in the sock. Like if you knit at a looser gauge, you're going to have a little bit more stretch in the sock. So I don't know if that's what's happening there, or if someone's got like a skinnier leg and skinnier ankle. What you could actually do is kind of do some decreases for that part. And then when you get into the foot part, kind of do a few increases to get it back to what you started with at the cuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
And there was another question, and now it is.
Okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I insist.
Okay.
You go.
Someone had asked that they're putting in a zipper in a cardigan. And did we have any tips?
I do not. I've not done that.
I've done a zipper. When the kids were little, I did them little long one-piece romper things, and I put a zipper in the back, and I hand sewed it in. I didn't machine stitch it in. I personally don't like doing it just because it's really, your trick is to get the zipper in so that you don't totally eliminate the stretch in the yarn.
Yes.
Right. So you've got to, because your yarn's a stretchy fabric, whereas your zipper
is zipper ribbon is not. It is what it is. Yes.
So if I'm correct, I think that Melissa from Knitting the Stash may have done that at some point.
Okay.
So I think the best thing to do would be to look for a tutorial where someone's actually done it and see, like in my case, when I was doing at the back of a jumpsuit for like a toddler, it was only like less than 6 inches for the zipper, right? So it wasn't a big deal. But when you've got a zipper all the way down the front, I don't know. When I did Jacqueline, one of those root style cardigans that was supposed to have a zipper, I changed it to a button band and put buttons on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
And I think Skeins of Dreams, I think she just did a cardigan for her husband where she put a zipper in it. So you might be able to find some information there. So, okay.
There was a question earlier that maybe we'll just answer before we move away from the questions. Somebody had asked if we had ever done any felting using Holst yarn. Nice segue. Perfect segue. it would felt very well. It's when you are doing any type of felting, you want to make sure that you have something that is a full wool fiber. I think that would be the best way to do it. And you want to make non-superwash, yes. And you want it to be a very either the word rustic or toothy comes to mind. That would be the easiest to felt. And I don't know if she was actually talking about like felting for the purpose of making a little felted object, or if she was talking about felting for another reason, but holst wood worked very well for felting. Or she may have actually been talking about where you knit something quite a bit bigger and then you felt it by washing it in hot water and shrinking it down.
Yeah.
And the answer to all of that is still yes. It would work.
Because I think when you do felting to make those like little, I've got one back here, this little guy back here, I think mostly they use fleece, fiber when you do that. So if you're felting to, the only thing I can say, if you're really not sure, do a square and try it, because I thought Briggs and Little would felt for sure. And I made something with Briggs and Little yarn and I could not get that thing to felt. Like here I wanted something to felt and I could not get it to felt. So I think, just do a little test swatch and see if you can get it to felt the way you want it to. Okay, so Mary's got a resource here
for installing a zipper.
Yeah. Oh, by hand and machine. So that would be a good resource because it'll tell you both ways. So.
Okay.
And then the last question that I had was, what kind of fiber can you use to reinforce the heel of a sock? Now, some sock yarns do come with that little tube of reinforcing thread, like in the middle of the.
Yes.
And so you can use that. And I do believe that you can buy it individually. It's called reinforcing thread. But one resource that I looked up said you could actually just try some polyester or silk sewing thread and just knit it right along with your yarn. And that will give it some extra
how that would work.
Well, they said it's good because it's not quite as thick as the reinforcing thread. So it's not going to affect the tension of your heel. And if you thought one strand wasn't strong enough, you could use a double strand of sewing thread. And they even suggested that silk would actually be better than the polyester.
Well, yes, the silk is really hard to break. So that would be I never thought about doing that.
Yeah. And they said because those types of threads come in so many colors, it should be easy to find a color that matches your sock yarn color.
All right.
So, okay. So that was the last question.
Okay.
Now we should talk about knitting. Well, those were knitting.
They were knitting. Yeah, they were all knitting.
They were knitting related.
We're a half hour in and we haven't.
Okay.
We've got a lot to cover. Okay.
Let's talk about what we're wearing.
Sure. Let's talk about what we're okay. 28:45.
Okay. You go first. Did you put a picture in?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I'll look for the picture. You start talking.
Okay. I'm wearing the Celtic Knot sweater by Helene's Knit House, and I used the Drops Alaska yarn to make this. So it was a very, very reasonably priced project. It knits super quick because the Drops Alaska is a worsted weight. It has, from the picture, you can see an absolutely gorgeous knitted cable that goes all the way down the sleeves, starts at the neck. It's a saddle shoulder construction. It's comfortable to wear. The yarn is soft enough even for me just to wear it on bare skin, which is what I'm doing tonight. I do think I maybe could have knit the sleeves ever so slightly a bit longer, because I do notice that even tonight it's just pulling a little bit in the neck. And I feel that that is all coming from the fact that I like my sleeves to be longer. I could take it apart and do the sleeves a little bit longer, but we all know I'm not going to do that. So I'm probably just going to either go with a little bit of a shorter sleeve or maybe just tug it up. I should have just made the cups.
When you pull it again, can you pull the sleeve down a little more?
Maybe I could. Yeah, I guess I probably could. I don't wear it a lot. I mean, it's a worsted weight sweater, right? So it's, I don't wear it a lot. And it's in a color that I would normally never choose for myself either. A light blue is not something that I ever wear, but I actually quite like it.
But it looks nice on you, and it's kind of like a blue on
it's like a frosty gray blue. Yeah, but I do really like these little bits here. the way that the construction, like how you added
Mhm.
these stitches in to come down from the shoulders.
Mhm.
And it was just enough of a cable. I mean, well, the whole sleeve, and then it's like garter stitch, garter stitch for the rest of the sleeve. But it was just enough cable to keep you interested, you know, all the way down through the sleeve. And it went really quickly too. It didn't take me that long to make. Well, I
Okay.
think it didn't take me that long to make. I think I put it on hiatus for a summer, but then when I picked it back up, there wasn't a whole lot
Yeah.
of time involved. So,
Okay.
and you?
And I am wearing the Merry Mints by Natalie Sheldon. And this is done in Holst Garn Super Soft. And I didn't go and buy any special yarn for this. This was all from super soft yarn that I had in my stash, and I just kind of went and put the colors together. So really, of any one color, I don't even think I used 50 grams of any one color. I think there's about 10 or 11 colors in here. So it's varying between like 10 to 20 grams of each of the colors. So a lot of you are buying super soft. So when you do this, you kind of build up a stash and you've got a lot of colors. It's kind of nice. You can just go through it and kind of pull together some colors that will work together and then put them into a fair out pattern. So this is just held single. And this is done at I think it's about a 28, 29 stitch gauge. But yeah, so it's just all over. And Natalie's pattern was amazing because you've got all these different designs that you can kind of put in where you want. And then when you do your sleeve to what length you want, you just kind of keep adding more colors. So the only thing that I did to kind of cohesively tie it together was did my neckband, my cuffs, and then my band at the bottom in the same color.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else, and I kind of kept my motifs. If I did the motif in one color, I kind of kept it in that color.
Mm-hmm.
But Natalie had hers on the weekend when we were out for coffee, and
Yes,
her sleeves are different, and it's much brighter than mine, but it looks spectacular. So I mean, you can
absolutely.
customize it to make a Christmas sweater that suits your style, right? So I've been wearing it a little bit more.
Julia says you could use that with those 10 to 20 grams of Advent.
Exactly.
Yes.
For sure. And I honestly think that's what Natalie did. Mm-hmm. She had lots of little bits and pieces. And so, yeah, it was fun to make. I like doing color work. You always want to get to the next pattern, right? Yes, and this absolutely. Is just a rounded yoke one. So your increases, there's solid rows. So your increases are just done on one of the solid rows. So. Mm-hmm.
And if all over color work is maybe just a little too much for you, you could easily end that anywhere that you wanted to.
Do a
plain. Just wanted to do a color work yoke and then a solid sweater. Like maybe, you know, if you had something patterned that you wanted to wear it with. Yeah, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and Natalie also does have, for any of you that are knitting for grandchildren or children, she does have the mini mint, which is like a mini version of this sweater too, and it's a lot of fun to make too. And again, you could just do it in the yoke for a child and then do the body plain, because they're not going to wear it for that long. Like, I'm hoping that this is going to fit me forever.
Are you still expecting that you're going to grow? Is that what you're saying?
No.
All I want for Christmas, Santa, is 2 inches. Yeah.
And Joanne, it's held single. The yarn is held single. So, but having said that, the yarn is held single. I'll just hold this up. But you can see then you've really got a double fabric, because just about every row is 2 strands together. But the yarn itself is just held singly. So it really, I don't even think it weighs 200 grams. But it's still warm because it's 100% wool. And we can't stress enough how gorgeous Natalie's patterns are.
And you know what else is gorgeous that Natalie makes? I got a new mug this week. Look at this mug. I have to showcase this one. Look at how beautiful this is. It's so pretty. And like, it's a different pattern all the way around. Look at that.
Yep.
I just love it. I love it.
So,
and it's a good match for the sweater tonight too.
It is. It is.
They're so comfortable to drink out of. I love them. Julia, that's what she said. Yes. Okay. What's next?
Did you finish anything?
I did. I finished one thing. So how many did you finish?
Just one.
What?
Just one. I told you it's been busy.
Okay.
Okay, you go ahead.
I'm just
I'll bring
marking.
up the banner.
Okay. I finished my two-fold cowl. And it's hard to show this because it just looks a little strange. So this is kind of the one side, and then this is the other side. And I love this braided area that goes down. So the way you actually, there's a few ways to wear it. So I put
Did you
pictures
do a
in.
banner?
I don't know if there's a
I don't
banner.
see a banner, so.
I did put some finished pictures in though. So I'll show
Okay.
you. It looks like it only uploaded one picture. I selected 3. Darn it. Darn it. Well, there's one. So that's one way to wear it. So you could have the braid sort of on top, and then the buttons are down below. The other photo that I had taken was having the buttons out in front. And then I had done a third photo, and it was set up in a way that the braid was around the neck, and then these 2 pieces were unbuttoned and were hanging down sort of as a longer, just more like a scarf hanging down. So I've only, at this point, sorry, what?
Who's the designer?
Karina Spencer.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. It's a really, I have a picture too from her pattern. So that's, now it's a DK weight, but she definitely used in that picture, it's a woollier wool than I have. So the one that I have is, I believe it's a superwash DK actually. And I do not have the color bands with me. I know one is Gargoyle and I don't remember the other one. I know it was Direful. Is that Direful Yarns?
Yep.
But so I have only steam blocked it. And I think I don't know. I haven't even tried it on myself yet. As you saw, it was on Beatrice. I haven't put it on me yet. I'm wondering if I almost needed to actually block it just to make it a tad longer. I'm thinking, like, just by the way it fit her, and her neck is a lot thinner than mine. I'm wondering if it's going to be a little snug around the neck. So I may actually have to do something a little bit more than just a little steam block if I want those pieces to hang down longer. So I'll try that on later, but I wanted to, I just steam blocked it tonight before the show because I wanted to show it off.
I have mine. I have to fully block mine. I haven't done that yet either.
Yeah,
again,
but it's so pretty.
like
And I love that ribbing
really
on the bottom too. It's
Yep.
really, really nice. Really, really a beautiful piece. And it's different. It's kind of unique, right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So that was my finish.
Okay. So I finished my festive cardigan. I think there's a banner for that somewhere. I'll
look.
you.
I'll look.
Okay. Okay. So this is my festive sweater cardigan by Skein-Deer Knits. It's all finished. It's
it looks
blocked.
Great.
It's I'll just show you. I put ribbon down the steek. So to cover the steek, I just got this ribbon that's just got like little gold snowflakes on it. So I just kind of sewed that down in place over the steek so that there's no kind of like rough edges or anything to catch on there. I saw Christmas tree buttons on Etsy, but I figured I wouldn't get them in time for wearing for now. So I just got these wooden buttons and they're fine. I don't mind them. So I've just got the little snowman at the bottom. I think
it's cute. I think it adds that little bit of a rustic touch. I like it.
Yeah, I had these other kind of more shiny buttons and they just didn't look right for the sweater. It needed something a little more rustic. So anyway, so when I was over at Kelly's for our first sock episode, we did a little filming of how I did the steek because this was all knit in one piece and then
I pushed record that time too.
Yes. So we actually filmed that. So we'll show that.
Just okay, before you take off, somebody had asked about the cowl that I just showed, just so before I forget, and they wanted to know if the buttons were just for decoration. They are not. And I actually, while Noelle was talking, I went and grabbed the other photo. So I will really quickly show you this photo before we do the video. So this is the pieces that are hanging down. So you can unbutton it. She had a photo like that as well, but the pieces were hanging down quite a bit longer. So either maybe her wool blocked out more, or maybe, as I said, I really do need to go in and actually do something a little bit more than a steam block just to get a little bit more length out of that. But
yeah,
it's a really fun cowl to do.
mm-hmm.
Okay. Sorry about that.
That's
Okay.
okay. And this, I haven't said, but this is done in brown merino yarn. And the contrast color is the light gray in Rama Lamel yarn, which is basically the same white. It's just a little bit different twist. I think this is dark olive and this is the natural light gray.
And okay, Jill wants to see the back of the sweater.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's just like the back just kind of looks, you can see the short. So that's pretty. A good picture of how short rows look.
Yes.
How that's scooped out there. So, okay.
Okay. So I'm going to go
got a little video on the steeking.
Yep.
Okay.
I do. I put it in here. Oh, under videos, Kelly. All right. Enjoy.
Okay, so I finished my cardigan to the point where I actually have to do the steek. So I have to felt it and then I'm going to cut it. So in order to do that, I'm using this felting mat, which is kind of like a bristly brush. To prepare my cardigan for that, I just gently steamed the steek stitches so that they'd kind of be flattened out a bit. So I'm going to put the felting mat underneath the steek stitches. Okay, so it's kind of in the middle and I can feel down. I can feel that it's pushed into the mat. This is a felting needle. Okay, so it does have a lock and an unlock. Be careful. It hurts a lot if you felt your finger. I've done it. It hurts. Okay, so I'm going to put it to the open position. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to go right down on the steek and I'm going to keep punching it. Okay, so I know the steek stitches. This has got 7 needles in it, so I'm going to keep punching all along that steek. Okay, and I'll show you now what it looks like on the other side when I peel it up. You can see where that's totally felted. So if I cut down, once I cut down the middle of that, that is not going to unravel. And so it's blended all of the fibers together. And I mean, I'm going to do it more than that. I'm going to keep going over it and going more than that, just to be on the safe side. I'll go up a little bit so I can show you. I'll start the cut here too so I can show you cutting it. Now in this particular steek, she has you purl a stitch on each edge of the steek. So I've got this line of knit stitches that goes up. So that is the line that I'm going to pick up my stitches for the button band and the buttonhole band. But you can see on the right side of your fabric, you can still see your stitches. But when you go on this on the inside, you can see where that's all felted. Okay, so I'm going to finish the rest of it at home, but I will take a pair of scissors and I'll start the cut here. But here, I'm just going to, just to be sure on this edge, because this is where I've cast on stitches for the steek. I'm just going to go over that some more just to make sure it's okay. Kelly, do you have a pair of scissors? Start the cut because I haven't felt it all the way up, but you can see, especially down at the bottom where I have the color, I'm going to cut right in the middle. Okay, and that's as far as I'm going to go for now because I'm going to continue to felt the rest of the way. But you can see when I turn that inside out and pull that, that's not coming undone. Those stitches are stuck together. And I will go along. This is all going to get turned under. I'm going to pick up stitches along this edge for the button band. And then when I finish it, once this is folded over, I'm going to sew a ribbon down over top of that little, where the steek kind of folds over. Yeah. So I find that way a lot easier than kind of reinforcing your edges and going down. And your fabric does not want to unravel that way anyway. If you're knitting unravels, it's usually going to unravel down, not across. So, and I suggest using smaller scissors so you're not cutting too much at once, so you can just kind of control as you're going up the steek. So there. So it should be all ready. Once I'm done all that, it'll be all ready for picking up the stitches and finishing the cardigan.
Yay.
Okay. So, yeah, I steeped my yell cardigan like that. and I don't have a sewing machine set up. So, and I don't know. I just feel like I know that's not
It
going
sounded
anywhere.
a little bit like an old treadle sewing machine when you
It
in the
did.
video when you were hammering up and down. But I'm also thinking that's a great thing, you know, if you're feeling a little frustrated, man, get a felter out.
Yeah,
Just go at
that's
it.
right. So anyway, I won't do it any different from that again. I like the finish of this. Um, like I said, I have done them in the past where I have sewn them and that's worked fine too, but I would just rather felt it. And I probably did not have to felt it as hard as I did. So
Lisa's asking, why not just do that sweater in the round? So
well, not in the
you
round.
yes, but you wouldn't. Well, she said, why not just make an in the round sweater? But if you want to make a cardigan, and so it is easier to knit the sweater all the way around. So you don't
Yes.
have to do any purl rows to go back. And especially for color work, it's definitely easier to do your color work only on the stockinette side.
Yep.
So this way, I mean, you can't normally just cut your knitting like that without having stitches unravel. So this is a way to make a cardigan without having to purl. And then you go in and put the button bands in.
And yeah, and it definitely is for me anyway. Some people may not find that. I find purling back, not that it's difficult, it just takes longer.
It does take longer. Yes.
So, and then there's also other cardigans because steeking can be done more than just like for the front of a cardigan. You could actually, if you were doing a sweater that was all over color work and you were doing drop sleeves, you can actually steek the whole thing up here. So you still continue just to knit around and then you just reinforce that steek for the sleeve and pick up stitches to go down. So again,
a lot of the traditional vests as well have a steeked, the V-neck vests that you see, the Fair Isle, they have a steeked V-neck as well. So it's, yeah, it does have quite a few uses.
And when you do the whole sweater completely in the round, there's a difference too, because some people find that their tension changes from when they're knitting in the round or whether they're knitting back and forth. So if you're just going to steek it, then you're doing everything around, then you don't have to worry about adjusting for a difference in your tension. So, yep.
And anyway, Sherry's asking if we could post a link for the felting mat and needle. Can you add that into the show notes as well?
I just, honestly, I just got them on Amazon. I've got them right here. I'll show you. If you just type in like felting needles and go to Amazon, they're basically all the same. I would probably get one that does have the 7 needles just because it's not as much work because you've got 7 needles going at once. And then basically the mat here, it's just called a felting needle mat. And I just punched them into Amazon and got what came up. So,
okay. And I am adding time codes to this after the fact tonight. So this might be one that you'll want to come back to. I will definitely put a time code where the steeking video starts. So if it's something that you wanted to save to your favorites and then come back and look at later, you'll know where to find it easily. All right.
Oh, I didn't finish anything else. You didn't finish anything else. What are you working on?
Well, what am I working on? So last week I showed a very early start on a sweater. So this week I have a little bit more done on it. And so it actually looks a bit like the beginning of a sweater. So I'm making the Cozy Classic Raglan by Jessie Made Designs. I want to make that noise with my needles. Sorry. And I'm using the Leo and Roxy 2 yarns. They're marled in straw into gold and the mohair in butter. And it doesn't look this bright. I know it keeps blowing out on the screen, but this is what I'm getting so far. Where's my end? There we are. Look at that. Look at that. How pretty is that? It's absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous.
And it feels amazing.
It feels amazing. Like I realize I don't have a lot done on it yet, but I am down into like I'm into the raglan part, obviously. And it has this beautiful detail. It's just a very simple
I know it's so clean looking,
lifted one. It's so clean.
Yep.
You can just see a nice line down there. And I took it out to coffee on Saturday, and
so we could all feel it.
So we could all feel it, and everybody is oohing, and they're like, "Oh, it feels amazing!" And it truly, truly does. It feels just so incredibly soft. I can't wait to get this one done to wear. And I love the colors. Like, who would have thought that yeah,
I know.
Gives you this? It's so beautiful and muted and absolutely amazing. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Couldn't love it more.
Okay, and I did some more work on my Paul Clay sweater. So I've got the yoke done.
So pretty.
And I steamed it. So this, all the colors in the yoke are done. And so now the rest of the pullover is just going to be in that light gray. And this is, the light gray is Brahma Phenol Garn, and all the colors are Marie Wallen British Breeds. And those were all the colors I had left over from my primrose sweater. So unfortunately, this is going to get set aside now till after Christmas because I have things that I have to get finished for Christmas. But all the fun part's done. So yeah, and I still have some little bits and pieces of this yarn left over that I'm not sure what I'm going to do with yet. But if you go and have a look at this sweater on Ravelry, there are some absolutely gorgeous designs. And this is another perfect way that you could have used some of your little bits and pieces of your advent calendars.
Absolutely.
So, and realistically, I guess you could, there were some people's projects where they actually took the design and then they put it around, all around here on the sleeves. You could actually put some more of it down at the bottom of your body. But yeah, it's a perfect way to use up, because I don't think I used more than 5 grams of any one color.
It's just so pretty. I mean, it's just such a,
and it's just plain. It's just like
very plain. It's not, you know, it's not,
but
it's not very difficult color work by any means, but it's so effective and it's really beautiful.
So
I love it.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to finishing that up, but that will be after Christmas. So, okay. So what else are you working on?
Oh, well, I don't even have anything else down here with me. So
I dropped something. Just a minute here.
I had to borrow some yarn yesterday. Well, I don't know why I'm calling it borrowing. It's not as if I'm giving it back, but our friend Lisa is visiting from Bracebridge, and we got to go out to dinner last night and
I just have to look for my project that I dropped.
Have a visit with her. So Noelle called me, and you know what? I can't believe, and I'm ashamed to admit this, but I did not have knitting in the car with me when she called to ask if I would go. And I thought, oh, I can't drive all the way home and make it back. And I can't go to a restaurant and not knit. So I said to Noelle, I'll come to your house after work. There's got to be some yarn there that I can have at your house and some needles. So she had chosen a yarn for me. So I did get a pair of socks started last night. And you know what? I was driving home and I had not decided. I just thought, well, I'll cast on and I'll get a cuff started. I have no idea what I'm going to make. But I was thinking on the way home, I think I'm definitely going to do color work with those, because I'm thinking how nice that yarn would look with a really pretty gray or a cream color, because it's a dark.
Well, what were the colors that you bought in it?
I bought,
didn't you buy the gold?
No, I didn't buy gold, but I bought a really beautiful, like a sandy taupe.
Oh, well,
like that beige, nice that beige would look really nice. And then the other one I bought was a navy blue, so it probably wouldn't show up very well.
No.
But yeah, definitely that beige would look really good with it. Absolutely.
Okay, and then I had to start a pair of socks yesterday too, because I had to have something to knit in the restaurant and I wasn't going to take a big sweater with me. So I started my next pair of
oh, that's so fun with the orange heel.
Yeah, and then the toe is going to be
that's
yellow.
Really
so
fun.
This is
really
this is going to be for either Zoe or Molly. I'm not sure which one for Christmas. So again, it's using up little bits and pieces of like the bright colors, and I don't have a pattern. This is just I did a 2x2 rib at the start and just striped it, and then I went to a 3x1 rib because I really like the 3x1 in the marled sock yarn. And this is Leo and Roxy's marled, and then this colorway is Pharrell. So, and I've already done one pair in it for one of them. So this is the second pair. Yeah, it's fun putting in just the little different colors. This is a shadow wrap heel. So I just put a shadow wrap heel in it. And I'm just going to do a rounded toe in the yellow when I get to the length that I want for the foot. And that'll be done. So.
Nikki, you're right. What are friends for? Yeah, I don't have to go shopping at a yarn store. I'll just go shopping at Noelle's house for yarn. Yes. Very good.
Okay, now the last thing that I'm working on, I'm only allowed to show a little bit of it. Yay. So I told you I was lucky enough to be working on the Leo and Roxy Advent calendar, and the pattern that they asked me to do. So I'll show a picture of the pattern first done is the Lamina. Oh, I should take the other banner off here. The Lamina wrap by Amba O'Brien. So this wrap can be either a wrap or a smaller cowl or a larger cowl. So I am doing the larger cowl, which will incorporate all 24 colors in the advent calendar. Now you can see in this one here, they're kind of doing it like a fade. Now, Leo and Roxy's advent calendar was actually based on the colors of chicken eggs. And it's so pretty. Anyway, so I'll just show you a little peek here of what I've got done. I can only show you a little bit, and this doesn't even do it justice. Like, it's so much prettier in person, but so the colors are more kind of just, well, you could almost like call them like sort of like nature colors because they're the colors of hen's eggs.
Yes, they are.
But anyway, so I've got that just shows you, if I take out the banner there, I think you can see there's a little bit of the bottom color, but that's only the first 6. Like I'm already up to, I think I'm on day 14. So I'm hoping to have it done by Sunday, and then I'm going to drop it off to them next week. But yeah, that would have been such a fun calendar to unwrap. It's fun knitting it. And this is the cowl, I think, is going to look really good once it's done. And so it does have a provisional cast on. So what I'm going to do, because it would be hard to block the cowl after it's done because you'd be in the around. So before I join it, because you do a provisional cast on and then you do a 3 needle bind off. So I will block it before I join it. Yes. Like I'll leave the stitches on either on the cord of the needle because or I'll put
lacy.
It on
it's lacy and you really want to block lace.
So I will block it and then shows off. Yeah, I'll block it and then I will do the 3 needle bind off to join it. So yeah, so I'm having fun. It's so much fun because you're only doing like, you've only got like so many rows in the color, and then you get to switch to a different color, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And she brought that out for coffee on Saturday as well. So that was another thing that we were all sitting and oohing and awing over that at the table as well. It's so
but I could do that because none of you have the advent, the Leo and Roxy advent calendar, so it was okay to show it.
But seriously, if they wanted to dye full skeins of any of those colors, I'd be down for that. They're so pretty. So pretty.
So pretty. Yeah. So next week I'll be able to show you. No, we won't be here next week.
No.
Okay.
No, we won't be. So I just want to say hello to Sarah. Sarah has said that an unexpected gift of insomnia is her first time joining in live from Oxford, England. I have also been visited by the insomnia monster lately, and last night was one of those nights. So I apologize if I am yawning more than usual, because I know I do yawn anyway. But I saw now see, I can't say it because then it'll happen. But I saw 4 o'clock roll by, and that was unpleasant. I had
I got up at 4:30.
I had a headache after my 2 hours of sleep that I got last night. So
that's why it's amazing we spend any time together, Kelly.
I know. I'm on the night shift. She's on the day shift.
I'm on the day shift. That's right. We have it all covered.
Yeah.
Okay. There's one question here. Mimi wants to know if anybody's blocked or washed their garment where they held mohair with the other yarn, and how did the mohair hold up? Anything that I've done with mohair has held up fine. The mohair actually helps give structure to the other yarn that you're working with, especially if the other yarn is a superwash yarn. Now, I wouldn't put it in the washer or the dryer. I would do the hand wash, roll in the towels, and lay it out. But I've not had a problem with mohair, and I don't think you have, Kelly.
Not
it's
at
blocked
all.
Fine. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, you definitely wouldn't want to put it in the washer or the dryer, but.
No. What was the commercial? There was a commercial. She was a little elderly lady, and it was about Frank's hot sauce. And she goes, I put that bleep on everything. Yeah, I feel like that's me and mohair. I knit that bleep in everything. We love mohair. We are big mohair advocates. So Nikki said that last night was her first night that she slept it all in 2 nights in a row. Oh, yeah. It's a terrible feeling to lay there and hear the person beside you sleeping. You just want to like put the
that's why when I wake up at 4 or 4:30, I just get up because I know I'm not going back to sleep. I might as well be up doing something. Knitting.
Yes, I know. Okay,
so Cheryl would like to know, she usually uses lightweight yarn. To get bulky 5, can you use 2 strands of 4 weight? I would think that if you're talking like Aran or worsted, I would think that would give you heavier. When you combine yarns, the best thing to do is to do a swatch to see what your gauge is. That's all I can suggest, because you can combine any yarns together that you want, but to get the tension and the fabric you want, you really want to know like how much drape you want. So it's better just to do a swatch, because I know a lot of people say that 2 strands of fingering is a DK weight. I find that's a little heavy for a DK
I do
weight,
too.
in my experience. But that's maybe just how I prefer my fabrics. So I think you're better off if you just swatch it and see what kind of fabric you get. So, okay.
So I have a thing that I found.
Did you buy anything?
I did. I bought
You
a
did?
thing. I bought this. I want to talk about this.
Oh, what is it?
I don't even think you know about this yet.
I don't.
This is a little thing that I saw on Laura Nelkin's feed. And I immediately, like within 30 seconds, jumped on and got them. And I'm not telling you a fib when it said that there was one left and I got the one. So these are, but they have other styles, but I liked this style. So these are called Midori clips. Does anybody know about these? I'm going to show you what these are awesome for. So they're just this, they're just these pretty little clips. I liked the flowers. And if I turn it this way and put my hand behind it, you see how it has that little loop through it?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. So here's what they're great for. Our pony cords.
Oh, okay. To put at the end.
So you can just slide it through. So I popped it open a little bit, but there. So they will slide through like this, right? Like, I don't know if it's showing very well. We'll slide through. And then I just take my finger, prop it open a little bit, pull the cord down through. And those cords are locked in place. They can't go anywhere. So if you're using this for a sleeve, which is exactly where these are, and if you ever have the problem that a cord slides, I know a lot of times, like we say, it doesn't move, it doesn't slide, but this one did slide. This is in, like this one moves pretty easy in the yarn. And, or if you're doing something bulkier, they can slide around. Like if I'm doing like a cardigan for Miles, I found that they slid pretty easy because the cords are quite small. These little clips, these are game changers. Game changers. So there's quite a few in a pack. There's 18 pieces. I don't need 18. I will gift you some, Noelle. But
I mean, it's good for when you're trying on your sweaters too, right? That you want to have that
absolutely.
It's easy to,
yeah. And they come in. Oh, look at this. There's even a pink one for you.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
These are very good. So
seen those before.
Never seen them. Never seen them, but can't live without them. So they are called
all the new little gadgets that are coming out for
Midori clips. And they're not for knitting. They're paper clips. They're paper clips. They're not even for knitting.
Okay.
But fantastic. Super fantastic. So thank you, Laura Nelkin, for
like
sharing that.
The pony cord was never for knitting either until someone discovered that you could use it for. So.
Absolutely. Okay.
Okay. So we probably should go through our knit-alongs.
Yes. Yes, we should.
Okay. So we have 2 knit-alongs going on right now. So the first is our holst along, which started on October 1st and it goes till December 31st. And for that one, all you have to do is knit something out of holst yarn. And holst has got many different lines. There's Coast, there's Super Soft, there's Tides, there's Titicaca, there's CeeLo, there's the sock yarn, there's Noble. So it just has to contain a holst yarn. It doesn't have to be, you can hold it with something else. It doesn't have to be entirely a holst yarn. And there are both chatter threads and finished object threads on Ravelry. So just pop your projects in there and we will be closing that at the end of the year. And lots of you have just told us that you just got holst orders in. So you still have like 3 weeks to get something in there. And it can be a headband. It can be mitts, it can be a small scarf. So there's lots of things that you've still got time to do between now and the end of the year.
And we have a hashtag on Instagram too, if you want to share your project. We've been checking in there too to see what everybody's making. Okay. And next.
Okay, Anne's got a question about how you put the pony cord on. And all you have to do is the pony cord is hollow. You just stick it onto the tip of your needle and then you can slide your stitches over it. So, okay. And so, Kelly, do you want to talk about our sock along?
Sure. Knit socks. That's the sock along. Knit socks.
Enter them.
Yes. Knit socks. Enter them into our Ravelry group. You can post them also on Instagram. I finally got that sock banner back in place. It is the hashtag KNP Sock Along 2022. At the end of every month, on the very last day of the month, we go in and we draw, and we will draw all the way back from the beginning of the year. So if you entered a pair of socks in January, you would have a total of 24 chances to win because we do 2 prizes each month. One is a pattern prize from our friend Natalie, and then the second one is a sock yarn or something. And at the end of this year, we're also having a grand prize. And I can show it again because it's so pretty. I'm not going to want to part with it. It has lived here with me for almost a year now. And this is from the lovely ladies from Full Moon Fibers. And they make these amazing, beautiful bags. And it's really like sturdy. So you can use it like a knitting bag. It also has like the liner. So it does pull up, and it's like a bucket bag that cinches. And then they dye.
It's quite generous size.
It's very generous. Like you can get a sweater in this, no problem. And then they have a dyed set of yarn that is a perfect complement to the bag. And that's the grand prize. So we're going to do that at the end of the year.
Okay, and Nikki's got a question. Nikki, when we're drawing the prizes for these 2 particular knit-alongs, the prizes are going to be coming from the finished object thread on Ravelry.
Yes.
So we just like to see if you want to put them on Instagram. We just like to see what everybody's making, and it's just inspirational. But it does make it much easier for us to draw from Ravelry because, I don't know, Instagram's harder to kind of try and pick a prize. I think last time when I did Instagram, unless there's an easier way that someone knows about, but for these 2, because that's what we originally stated, that's where the prizes are going to come from.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. There was something else over here that
Okay, while Kelly's looking, we'll just let you know too, we're going to be starting a new cal at the beginning of January, and that one's going to be our Marie Wallen knit along. Basically, it started with the Burra cowl, which is an all over color work cowl pattern that she has in her Shetland book, although you can buy it individually. But we're extending so that you can also do Susan Crawford designs because they tend to be more size inclusive. So that is going to start beginning of January, and a lot of her patterns are color work, and it'll be perfect opportunity for everybody to use up all the Holst yarn that they bought in the Holst sale. And I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody's projects. I know I'm going to do the Burra cowl for sure. She's got so many other wonderful patterns that I want to do that I'm going to have to sit down and seriously look at them and see which ones I think I should get on the needles. So, and that's going to run for the whole year. So we will probably have we'll start our sock cal again in January. And we're thinking about also the Smash Your Stash one.
Stash down. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a couple of other things here that were just commented. Anne she says that she wishes we could demonstrate more techniques in knitting. That is something that we occasionally do. And we do have some little videos for that. If you, sometimes if there's a technique that we're talking about that we will make a video, like we talked about the steeking. I've also done a few tutorials on my Tangled Stitch channel that you could check out there that involve a lot of techniques around sock knitting. The episode that we recorded last weekend, we're not showing you any specific techniques, but we are talking a lot about techniques for sock knitting. So if sock knitting is something that you're interested in learning about, we do have that podcast coming out. So I'm away next week. So instead of not having something, that's where we're going to play it. So next week at the same time slot, we will have that recorded sock episode that we did on the weekend. And spoiler alert, this gorgeousness is in there as a giveaway. And this is an absolutely beautiful set from Leo and Roxy. This is their marled sock yarn, and they have 2 colors. It's not Caribbean like we thought. It's Cabana and Leo. And these socks are amazing. And I haven't even put away the stuff that we talked about on the weekend. So I still have my work socks here. These are one of my favorite pairs of socks. So they donated this, and we're going to give this away in next week's episode. There'll be an opportunity for you to comment below to win this prize. And then we are actually doing the draw for it at our pajama party.
Yes, and some people have already sent me some pajama party pictures. So
yes, get your pictures in.
Make sure, get your pictures in. We want to do that pajama party, which is going to be the week between Christmas and New Year's. And that's where we're going to announce the winner of the sock yarn from next week's episode. But we will be back the Tuesday before Christmas.
Yes.
Live.
Yes.
So, but
And I'm pretty sure we'll have some other prizes that night on the pajama party too. So
Yep.
what we're asking you to do, if you are comfortable to do so, because we asked last year and we had a blast with this, is send us a photo into our Gmail up here. Send a photo to this of you knitting in your PJs. And I'm going to compile a little video to share with everyone. So just be mindful. It will be on the Knit Chat, and therefore it's living on the internet forever. So appropriate PJ pictures only,
yes,
please.
Appropriate PJs. We reserve the right to censor if we
yes,
because my grandchildren might be watching this.
Yes, but we hope you'll join in. We had quite a few people join in last year, and this year we definitely have even more people. So I don't know, it could be a bit of a lengthy video, but we are looking forward. It's so fun to be able to put an actual face to the names that we see on here every week joining us. And we are so thankful that you do join us week after week. It is the highlight of our weeks. Absolutely.
And maybe we could even do like a sock start or something that day, and it can be your first pair of socks that you're going to start and then have finished for the knit along in the new year.
We'll come up with something. For sure.
Because I know a lot of people do like a Christmas Eve start or Christmas Day start. I never have time on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day to start a pair of socks. So
I do like to do a Christmas Eve cast on though, even though I hardly ever get anything done on it very much, but I do like to do it.
I just we're busy Christmas Eve, and we are doing the sock along, Mary, in 2023, and people are asking questions about our next knit alongs. We will have all that information together and available for you on the next live before Christmas, because none of them start until January 1st anyway. So,
and yes, Susan, the Marie Wall and Cal will be on Ravelry. Most of the make-alongs that we host are on Ravelry. I think we've only once or twice done something that was an Instagram exclusive. They're almost all in our Ravelry groups. And we also have just having a hard time keeping a straight face, Marianne, when she writes, so no George poses on the chaise lounge.
No, none.
No. Oh my gosh, yes. I'm lost. What was I saying? Completely lost. Mostly on Ravelry. Is that what I was talking about?
Yes, that's what you were saying. Yeah.
Excuse me.
So
okay.
So I think we're good for tonight. I think. Are you okay? Okay. So have fun for the next 2 weeks. We won't see you till 2 weeks from now live, but we still have our sock video going up at the same time as our normal podcast next week. So Tuesday at 7:00. Get all your Christmas knitting done, but relax and enjoy it. Try not to stress yourself out too much. Remember, knitting's supposed to be fun. So yeah, and just enjoy the season, spend time with friends and family, and, just try not to get too stressed. That's easier said than done. I know, because I stress myself out, because if one thing gets done, it's like, what else can I add? But, really just try and enjoy. So
I could say anything. Just take time to visit with some friends.
Yeah,
take time to knit with some friends if you have knitty friends.
That's right.
That's therapy for me. Absolutely. It just calms me. I enjoy it. It's fun to have friends that are doing something like-minded, the same as you. So it's, that would be my suggestion. Find a knitty friend and have a glass of wine and enjoy a little bit of knit time.
So take care, everybody. Happy knitting, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
I'll be back in 2 weeks with a tan, maybe. I don't know why I say that. I'm definitely not getting a tan on my face. I keep that well protected. So, and you're not going to see any more than my face on the next episode. So that's that.
Well, I don't know. That depends what pajamas you wear.
True dat. Okay. All right. Take care, everybody.
Take care, everybody.